1 2 1 2. This is Backyard Conversations. We are back. Mr. Davis, Happy New Year. How you feeling?
Happy New Year. We're back again, just on the couch.
On the couch,
in the backyard.
You know,
sipping on some tea.
Sipping some nice
turmeric apples.
Some nice tea, keeping us warm and cozy. It's been a minute since we did this, right?
Yeah.
And
speaking of warm and cozy, it was really super cold over the holidays.
It was.
In Vancouver.
It was. Thankfully, I was able to go on a short trip to Houston. I was in the U.S. for a bit, and it was kind of nice and warm. And I came back here, and I had to just plow my way through snow to even get access to the car.
No, it was so cold. Right now, my heating isn't on. That's how warm it is now compared to then.
Yeah.
But I had it on the whole day, the whole night. Even when I left the house, I would leave it on because I was like, when I come back, I just want it to be warm. When I get back, it was freezing, to say the least. But yeah, I'm glad that's over now.
And I'm glad we're back. So let's just dive right into it, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So I think one of the first things that I think we should address is how abruptly we kind of disappeared last year. I feel like it was the end of the season, but we just didn't announce that we were leaving. We just left people hanging, and then just, what happened there?
I mean, end of year, things are starting to get wrapped up in other parts of your life as well.
For real.
So you kind of, focus on your year end, and that sort of takes away, or distracts you, I'd say, from some of these things, right? So that's basically what's going on. Things were getting busy, deadlines were coming up, the year was wrapping up, so it kind of gets busy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of hard to come back and drop that final.
It really was.
Yeah, but we're back now. We're here to stay, and we've got some exciting things coming up this year as well.
Yes, and we promise not to abandon you guys just like that anymore. We're gonna give you an early heads up if we have to go away for a short while. So this is our new year, new episode. And I think one of the first things we want to do is it's going to be in two parts. We're going to talk about some highlights from last year and what we're looking forward to in this year. And for me, I know last year was a blur. It felt like it just merged into 2020. And did you feel the same way?
Yeah, because the pandemic's been happening, it just feels like one really long year.
Yeah.
Things were kind of easing up a bit, end of summer, rules were changing, but then, start of December, everything just, Omicron came around, and everything went back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it just feels like one. I was looking back and I was like, sometimes I get confused. I'm like, when did this happen? Was it 2020 or was it 2021? Yeah, it's so confusing now.
I had the same experience, so much so that throughout just transitioning into 2022, I still felt like writing 2021 on my paper because it felt like there's no way we've gone through 2020 pandemic and 2021 still stuck in the same pandemic and in such a seemingly short amount of time.
Yeah, my really third birthday in the pandemic is coming up in April, right? So yeah. I've had two birthdays already in the pandemic now. Third one's coming up, so it's 3 birthdays. So I've literally aged 3 years in this whole pandemic. Is crazy.
Same actually, because my birthday's in the summer as well. May. So I think for me, I'm gonna be doing my second year wedding anniversary from inside of a pandemic. It is just ridiculous. But in any case, we're thankful we made it into a new year, and there were some things in 2021 that were highlights of news stories, especially stuff that had to do with us. And I think one of the more fresh ones in our memory is the Twitter ban in Nigeria. And I think it was just yesterday officially that they lifted the ban. Even Twitter had one of the accounts tweet about it on the platform. And so it was one of the more bizarre things that happened. Thankfully, I'm not affected directly by it, but I have friends and family who had to bypass all the security stuff using VPNs and all that jazz just so they could tweet or just get informed or communicate.
The ban was quite unnecessary because everyone was still on Twitter anyways.
Yeah,
and even government officials were on Twitter. Isn't it
right? Isn't there an active ban right now?
Yeah,
but and lifting the ban now. I feel like the government is coming from a narrative that's almost we forgive or whatever, or we're done
I think it's more about the elections coming up.
Exactly. There's nothing super amicable about it. Like, this is the resolve we came to. No, you need this platform to campaign to this certain demographic, and that's why you're lifting the ban. And as soon as it doesn't serve your purposes, I guess you might revert to doing what you did before. But yeah, that was one of the very, very bizarre things that happened. Another one was the quote-unquote repentant terrorists back home, where there's always some kind of insurgency in the north, and these guys would get like a slap on the wrist.
Honestly, I don't even know what's going on with that. It's just, they do whatever. There's no repercussion, right? That's why people keep getting into it as well.
Yeah. I really don't know why it would seem like some rules apply to a certain group of people and it doesn't apply to others. And then when you have a scenario where people are literally committing acts of like murder and like serious crimes, and all of a sudden you've washed their sins away. Yeah. How does that not encourage like the next wave of
exactly?
This kind of
and I even see some I don't know even how true it is, but I've seen some instances of where some of these so-called, I guess, bandits or whatever you want to call them, make their way into sort of like security positions, like, you know, like
right.
the army or the police or something like that, which is quite strange.
It's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That was one of the highlights. Not necessarily a fun one, you know, but it was one of the more interesting things that happened back home. And I think on a brighter note, I call her Auntie Ngozi, but, you know, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and our World Trade Organization appointment was one of the bright notes in the year.
Yeah, of last year. Yeah, as well. And also, I think I read something about her son performing, was it open heart surgery, or?
Oh yeah, I read something about that.
Some medical feat, anyways, and that as well. So I guess the family is doing well.
They are. She's always been someone I admired. You know, I have one of her 2 books, and it's interesting to see that we have such brilliant, dedicated, hardworking people who can't even have a sniff in leadership right now in our country, and then they'll just go somewhere, you know, as insignificant as the WTO, and then run the business.
Exactly. It's just the systems in place, right? They're not working quite well, so. Because it's obviously capable individuals. If the system works, then they can work as well. But I feel like a lot of these capable individuals, even if they get into the system is so against them that they can't actually make progress, right?
It's sad. And another thing that happened last year, which there were mixed emotions about this because it doesn't really necessarily affect everybody equally, but it was the death of T.B. Joshua.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, is supposed to be a super renowned prophet who sees visions and who makes prophecies, but didn't see this one coming.
Yeah, seemed quite sudden, eh? I just woke up one day and I think I saw that on the news that was it. And then apparently some people said it was rumors. Eventually got to find out that it was actually the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then some power struggle ensued in the institution that he left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually always like that. And this is not one of those things where is going to sort it out because, talking about handing out your personal property, right? This is the faith, like, and Nigeria is, I don't want to say notorious, but super known for being obsessed. Like, Nigerian people of faith, they're usually obsessed with their church leaders, their pastors. I feel like they even worship those guys more than the figures they preach about. And it's one of those things where it's gonna have a ripple effect on the ministry long term.
Yeah. Because
I don't know what they're gonna do with like the leadership.
Who's gonna be filling those shoes, I should say.
Right.
Because it was so much connected to the person. Like, he was sort of like, if you want to look at it on an organizational point of view, he was the USP, the unique selling point.
Exactly.
Of, that institution. And now that he's gone, so who are they looking at?
Yeah.
Or who has that same charisma, right? Which is, a bit different. Unlike situations like, say, the Catholic Church, for example, where it transfers on sort of like, the aura of the Pope, or whatever you want to call it, transfers on to whoever, because they already have these processes in place for years, and they know the succession, how it goes, etc., etc. But in this case, there's no true like succession sort of plan or that sort of thing. So it's a bit harder.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what's happening in the church or the ministry, but I really hope that, those people are doing okay. Rest in peace. Another unfortunate event. I wonder why a lot of the highlights last year in Nigeria were not necessarily good news, right? This next one is the collapse of the story building in Ikoyi, the structure. It was a fatal collapse. Quite a few people lost their lives. And it breaks my heart to see that they gave up on a rescue mission pretty quickly. So it was like the way you take apart rubble when people are potentially trapped under it is very different from how you would take it apart if you're just demolishing stuff. But this is an environment where it's very, very possible there's like no serious standards. I mean, obviously there were no standards in the first place for you to even put that kind of structure the way you did. And the owner of the building, who unfortunately also went with the building, was, I don't want to say notorious, but known for bypassing norms and circumventing rules just to get.
Really? I didn't actually know that.
Oh yeah, he would brag about it, about building stuff that wasn't necessarily permitted and putting 2 more stories. He would come on TV and talk about stuff like that. So it's unfortunate that the one thing that he did it in the UK and got away with it, and then he ended up coming back home and it came back to haunt him.
Yeah, man, sins will just catch up with you. I mean, just stick to these rules are in place for a reason, right? Yeah. Safety is number 1. Safety first. That's what they say. Safety first. They say that for a reason.
Yeah.
And then everything else follows. So safety is always first, right?
I agree.
Stop cutting corners, people.
Yeah, there's a lot more stuff that happened last year. But I'm just gonna try and end it there because it's just really depressing. There's a lot of bad news.
It's crazy. Like everything, like since COVID, like I can't even think of. It's a different time that we're living in for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was some good news from last year. Do you remember any? Like any major
good news? I mean, last year, Essence, by Wizkid's first time Afrobeat song had risen that high on the Billboard? On the Billboard, yeah. So we could point to that.
That was pretty good news.
Wizkid sold out the O2 Arena 3 times.
True. That was some good level stuff.
Yeah.
I think for me, one that I really, really enjoyed was there's this amazing Nigerian athlete I follow on Twitter, Instagram, I should say, Asisat Oshoala. I don't know if you know her. She currently plays for Barcelona, and she's the first African woman to win Champions League.
Oh wow!
Yeah, she won it with Barca, and she's such a professional. Like, I watch her. Sure, she clowns on her IG a lot, which is it's kind of part of it. It's good, right? You can joke around, but watching her play, there's a reason Barca went for her. Right, she's such a talent, and I know that the sky is just the limit for her. So I think that was a bright spot for me.
Yeah, going into football or soccer, as we call it here in the world. How you feeling about the World Cup coming up?
Oh man, so I guess maybe this is a good segue into what we're looking forward to in 2022.
Yeah.
The World Cup for me is kind of bittersweet because on the one hand, I mean, it is football. It is the greatest sport in the world. It gives life. It gives meaning. Like, it brings people together. It's such a beautiful thing to experience and watch. However, there's so many claims of injustice and slavery and circumventing, labor laws in building all the stadiums in Qatar. So much so that I actually saw something from Eric Cantona. He came out recently and he said he's going to be boycotting the World Cup. This is a legend, the king of football, right? He's going to be boycotting. I know a lot of people don't even take whatever he says seriously nowadays because of the kind of person he is. But he talks about all of the issues surrounding everything that has led up to this moment. And I for one, know that global sporting events like the World Cup and the Olympics usually end up being problematic to the people at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, more than usually a dark side to it, for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, the IOC, the Olympic Committee, or FIFA, those ones are gonna get their advertising cash. They're gonna make their money back and just gonna get out of there quickly. But the people in the hometowns that have been displaced, the community people that some have been taken forcefully against their will to go, construct. They're the ones that are going to pay for it long term. So I really don't know how I feel. I on the one hand, I want to watch it. On the other hand, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to Qatar this year anyways. So I guess we'll see how it goes. It's something I'm kind of looking forward to, but not wholeheartedly, if I may.
I know, but I mean, it's hard in this one because like on one level it's like a sport that you love. It's a global audience. On the other level, there's all these dark things and underground things going on as well, and you're like stuck in the middle as to, okay, is it providing jobs? Is it doing this? Is it doing that? Or is it also a detriment? A detriment to the people as well. So it's hard to sort of know where you place in these situations.
It's kind of like a weird juggling act, trying to find a balance.
Yeah.
Of course I love football, man. But this is something. And then if you think about Qatar, it's not necessarily the greatest footballing nation, right? It's just the Middle Eastern, region is like.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, it seems like everything is so bleak, but you know what? Like, I'm looking forward to a lot of positives. I feel like
same.
I started this year out on a high. When I was going in, I just had this feeling that this year is going to be a better year. Like, there's going to be a lot of good things happening. It's going to be, some great things happening. So, I mean, let's see how it goes, right? Like, you put that into the universe, and you probably get that back. Like they say, right? Put good into it, you probably get good back.
Yeah, that's part of my things too for 2022 is to level up in many areas, because last year went by in a blur, like we talked about earlier. I think even more so because I started like a job in February and I switched roles from the same company in like October. Yeah, and this is me who loved my freelance life during COVID. I mean, before COVID, I should say, but thanks to COVID, like it put like a stopgap, like the water just stopped flowing. And now I'm trying to get back in the game, trying to be out there and put myself out there more, create more, share more. And I think that's one of my goals for this year is to put more of myself, my work out there, and on a positive note, just keep doing.
Yeah, I just want to take more risks this year.
Yeah, like calculated risks though.
I don't even know about that, to be honest.
Yeah,
I've usually been risk averse, so everything I do. So I have been taking calculated risk already. Yeah. Right. But I just feel like I need to take more risks because I feel like there were some opportunities last year that if I took more risks, it would have been more satisfying. So even if I'm gonna lose out in the end, but I just feel like I can say that I've done it. So I really want to take more risks this year. Yeah. Right. Move to that new city, take that new job, whatever. Leave the company, like anything. Yeah. Like I just want to take more risks.
I like that energy. I've been there and I'm still there. But what I usually do is I think, even though I don't consider myself risk averse, I try to be semi-calculated with my risk taking, because I know what kind of risks I want to take this year. I know how I want to level up, where I want to level up. I know where I want to put myself out. And even if I end up like messing up, I'm okay with it, right? I want to take it as a lesson and then move on to the next one. And in terms of risks, like, are you considering stock market, like investments, things like that, or?
I mean, I'm not really looking too much into. I'm just talking about life things in general, life events. Not necessarily. I feel like my stock market, like I've slowed down. I'm not really doing anything in the stock market right now. Everything I have in there is just what's in there. Yeah. Like I'm leaving that in there for long term. Not really touching any of those right now. Yeah. But in terms of life events, like if I want to go on a road trip, I'm gonna do it. Like. Even if no one else is going, I'll do it on my own. Like if I want to, whatever it is, if I want to leave my company, go to a new company, I don't want to think too much about it. Like, there's more opportunity. Yeah, like no, I just want to do it. Yeah, the opportunity is there. Just take it. Like take more risk in general.
I hear you.
And that's kind of how I want to push this year. But yeah, still good things coming up this year for sure.
Yeah, I know definitely we have a bunch of hikes lined up. As soon as the spring comes, we're out of here. Because I feel like last year we didn't do nearly as many outdoor activities as we did the year prior, obviously. Because if you remember, I think even just 2019, 2020, we played a lot of indoor soccer, like outdoor soccer. We did a lot of sporting activities. But the fact that we got so comfortable with being indoors last year, it really messed with me.
I know, right? Yeah.
It really messed with me. And I remember like reaching out when we talked about how for this new year, we got to be outside. You know, I don't want to be that person who's always staring at a wall or at a computer. No, like, I need to feel the wind in my face.
I know. Got to the point where it's like, if I'm going out, I'm just like, oh, I don't even want to go.
Yeah, I know, right?
As opposed to before where you could just go. So now it's like, it's too home, being, you know, behind these four walls. Like, yeah, definitely need to get out there more, do more. Like,
yeah, especially outside. So one of my gripes is mask wearing. I know it protects me and people, and you know, I get it, but oftentimes I find it so inconvenient that it takes away from a lot of my experiences. So I'm the kind of person that I would just walk into the library, sit down there for like 4 or 5 hours, get super productive, because for some reason the library has this kind of thing that it does to me where it puts me in a different zone. But lately, whenever I go there and I'm stuck in a mask, in an hour tops, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
I can't just do it.
It's the same thing here. Like, even going into work every now and then when I do go in, and like on the way, I'm just like, I have to wear my, I'm like, I literally can't breathe. So like, I find myself think, oh, I just can't wait to get home so I can take my mask
Exactly.
off.
That home now feels like a trap to me, because why am I stuck indoors? So it's one of those things that we gotta just find a balance. That's why outdoors is usually like the way to go, right?
Yeah.
Just, you know, I have to find a way to even circumvent my library stuff. Maybe find like a much more convenient mask, or maybe put some kind of bandana on my face or something. But yeah, in terms of content, what are you looking forward to this year? I know there's gonna be some new movies coming out.
I'm looking forward to Ozark coming in next week.
Oh yeah, season 4, eh?
Yeah, I want to see how that goes for sure. There's a few things as well coming back. Snowfall, I'm looking forward to that.
The Snowfall, I haven't seen.
Yeah, I've got Idris on that one.
Nice.
Damson Idris, not Idris Elba.
Okay.
So we've got Damson Idris coming back on Snowfall. Great show so far. You know, it's about the crack epidemic in the 80s.
Nice.
Well, I think the 70s and the 80s. So yeah, it's an interesting show. So I'm looking forward to that coming back. And then obviously there's a few contents in terms of movies are coming back. You know, like the MCU is coming back with a few things that do. You know.
Yeah, I think the Doctor Strange one might be one of the big ones. Is it this year?
Yeah, I believe that's this year, because I think that's the next one coming out. Yeah, hopefully last year, you know, a lot of filming was going on, so we can see some releases coming up this year. I feel like, you know, like last year a lot of things went straight to like view at
digital,
home, digital, and it wasn't that many, to be honest, because, you know, filming was cut short behind the year before that. So yeah, so in terms of, you know, TV shows coming, I'm always looking forward to new content. Hopefully they don't stop filming. Like I finished Foundation from last year. Hopefully we see a new season this year.
That would be nice.
Yeah, there's a few other things here and there, like Guillermo is the director, right? So I think he did Dragon Son. What's the name of that animation that he?
Oh, Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know what it's called, but the animation with the
Dragon Prince.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. So that should be coming back. That's been gone for like maybe 2 years or something.
Oh really?
Yeah. So that should be coming back this year.
He has a new film. I think he has a new film out too. Yeah, well, Pan's Labyrinth is one of my favorite Guillermo del Toro films.
Alright, yeah.
That was a really good.
I mean, I really like that. The style, so he has that coming up.
Did you like Arcane?
I liked that Arcane actually.
Yeah,
that was pretty good. Yeah, I liked Arcane. That was pretty good.
But you didn't like The Matrix though. I haven't seen it,
Matrix?
so don't spoil it. Yeah, I haven't seen it, so you didn't like it.
I'm not gonna say anything, but let's just say it's a crap movie.
Oh man, I see. I feel like we're gonna talk about this at some point. You know, later on this pod. But
Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it on HBO, and then I'll let you know how I feel about it.
Yeah, I'm never gonna watch that movie again.
But one thing I'm looking forward to is Attack on Titan season 4.
Yeah, I saw that coming. Do you know what? I started watching it in season 1 and I just haven't gone back to it yet. I feel like there's so much content sometimes for me. Like I end up not going to finish certain things that I start just because I get into something else, and it's kind of hard. Like there's not enough time, right, to pretty much watch everything. So maybe I'll try to go back to that. My anime is kind of specific, so
yeah,
you know, I'll probably do something like Arcane. in that region,
right?
Or there's like Dragon's Blood, or there's like is it Son of Zeus?
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's Son of Zeus. Though you haven't seen that one.
I haven't.
So it's a twist on the Greek mythology.
Oh yeah.
And Greek has, instead of Hercules or Perseus or whatever, there's a different.
What is it on? Do you know?
It's on Netflix. A Netflix original. Yeah.
The one. I mean, this isn't Netflix, but Demon Slayer is what I've been watching. And I really enjoy it.
Alright, yeah.
I'm really enjoying it.
So yeah, you should check out Son of Zeus.
Yeah.
It's a really good one.
Another thing that I think is coming out this 2022 that might be, fun to look forward to is usually like the new tech. But what I was going to look forward to was supposed to be Tesla's like Cybertruck. Not because like I'm super hyped about it, but it's so different and so radical. Like I wanted to see it in person.
Yeah.
But now they took out the release date of 2022 from their website.
As usual with Tesla, I mean, what else is new? Like, they always push back production.
Yeah, they keep pushing it back. So this is gonna obviously affect a lot of people's expectations. And this is the year where like pickup trucks are going crazy, right? Ford is doubling production on the F-150 EV. Like Rivian is already getting all the hype.
Yeah.
Who else is in there? Like Dodge. These guys are already dropping EVs like it's nothing, and then Tesla is just like gonna take more time.
Yeah, especially with the outdoors becoming more of a thing, right? So people want to be getting trucks and taking it out there.
Oh yeah. I heard about someone who had a used Jeep SUV, and because people are so crazy about going outdoors, he sold it and flipped it and bought a brand new car.
Wow.
And this is something that she's been driving for like years.
Yeah.
But because we were so obsessed, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna get a Kia Sorento. Like you can have the Jeep, But yeah, that's something. There's a lot of tech to look forward to this year. I mean, the iPhone is probably gonna be a little bit boring because it's very. When they have a generation they let it linger for like 4 or 5 years. And I feel like this 12, 13, 12 Pro, they're all in that category. The design isn't going to change much. However, I know all these phones have had like 12 megapixel cameras for at least 5 years now. So Apple, what I've heard is they're looking to put like a 48 megapixel camera on the new iPhones, which is going to be like a big jump. And then they're going to be able to sell you 2 terabyte iPhones because 48 megapixels means you're going to be recording 8K videos. And then if you have a 256 gig phone, it's going to be useless for 8K videos. So they're going to be like, well, if you want to upgrade and get a 2 terabyte iPhone, it's going to cost you $2,000. Are you ready?
I'm going to start paying $2,000 plus for phones now.
It should be fun.
Especially inflation already coming in.
I know. Inflation and shrinkflation. It's real.
I don't even know. We'll see how that goes because I'm due for a new phone because my phone is starting to act up right now, but I think I'm going to stick to the 13.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a long time before I get a new phone. I waited how many generations from a 7 to a 12? It took me forever to upgrade my iPhone 7 to a 12 Pro. Like, it took forever.
I usually wait, like, I think it's around 3 to 4 years. I think I had the 6 or the 6S before, then I went to the 10S. And that's what I have now, so I'm getting 13, I guess. So that's roughly 3 years, maybe.
Yeah. Another thing I'm looking forward to, even though I don't really play games much, is some new titles from like PlayStation and maybe Microsoft that will take advantage of these consoles that nobody can really get their hand on. And let's see what games are going to be pushing the PS5 to the limit, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing I think is worth looking forward to this year.
Let's see. I had a lot of people complain. Actually, there's not a lot of games on PS5.
I think PS5 probably even has more original titles than Xbox. What Xbox does pretty well is with their Game Pass, you can literally play almost any game that's been like on PC and Xbox. With your monthly subscription. So that like opens up the libraries, like a ton of games. But Sony released like Returnal last year, which is one of the highly rated games from the year, and they had the new Ratchet and Clank games that came out too. So they do have titles that are like next gen titles that take advantage of all like the raw power the consoles have. Microsoft with Forza 5, I think it was. Yeah, Forza 5 was a really big game for them last year. And Halo, definitely Halo.
Yeah, Halo is basically their flagship.
It is, and the occasional Gears of War here and there.
Yeah.
Which there's no new Gears of War game. I'm sure they're working on one in the near future.
No. But yeah, I'm interested to see like what they do with other games. Like maybe we see something like Metal Gear come in. into the PlayStation 5 world, or a good version of God of War. Games that are like open world.
Oh yeah, there's a new God of War coming out too.
Yeah, sort of like a open world type, and see what the PS5 can really do with the open world.
The next GTA is gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's gonna be out of this world. I'm already sure. Rockstar.
Yeah.
And so, there's so much to look forward to this year. Like, I'm glad we're ending like on a positive note, because the way this episode started, it wasn't on good vibes at all.
I know, but it'll get better. Like, it'll get better for sure. Like, I have faith in 2022.
Oh yeah, it's the year to like shine and prosper, and to take it by the reins.
But I think everyone needs to understand that everything is gonna be okay in the end.
Fact.
That's just how it is.
Or in the words of CR7, factus. Alright, I think that's our show today. We've talked for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, fam. Always, like, we love you guys. Tune in. Find us everywhere. There's podcasts on Apple Podcast. I said Apple Music. It's Apple. I haven't done this in a while. You can tell, right?
I know, right?
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, and also find us at Backyard Conversations on Instagram, Backyard Convos on Twitter. We're out of here.
Yeah, that's what I like to say. I usually just say across all platforms. So catch us.
Across all platforms, yes. And officially, we're out of here.
All right, catch you next time.
Peace.